Welcome back, y'all, and happy Wednesday. This is the Blue Chip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, we're going to be talking about Tennessee's front seven on defense for 2025. Now, most of y'all might know, okay, if you've been paying attention to this channel, y'all know we love the front seven. That's where teams are really built at. That's where games are won and lost at. And I'm very excited about how the front seven is going to be looking for our defense coming up in 2025. Please do us a very big favor. Make sure to like and subscribe before we get started. All right, y'all, this is my projected depth chart for our front seven heading into spring. And in some cases, it's probably how it's going to be looking after spring as well. But you're going to see each individual position group next to it. You're going to see the blue chip ratio for that group. And then up under each heading, you're going to see the players, again, listed in order. Next to each player, you're going to see what their highest star rating was with the four sites that we like to look at. And then next to a few of the players, you're going to see a star. The star indicates that that is a true freshman. Come all the way down to the bottom right, you're going to see what the front seven's overall blue chip ratio is heading into the spring, heading into 2025, is at an 86.6, which I think is absolutely outstanding. So let's start off right here with the strong side defensive ends. We can see that their blue chip ratio is an 83.3. I've got Tyree West projected as the starter right here. He was one of the more productive pass rushers and really just linemen, players on defense, period, last season. Very excited to have him back. I think that he's going to wreak a whole lot of havoc. And number two, I'm going to have Don Bailey. Now, interesting for both of these players is that they could see some tackle rotation because they're both about 300 pounds. Really, Tyree might be over 300 pounds, so they can play tackle for us too if we need them to, and they do it a lot inside of our Rabbits package. Next, I do have Tyree Weathersby, who I would expect will get a lot more playing time this season. Last season, we rotated like 4, sometimes 5 strong side DNs. So to get into that, real heavy mix, I think that this season you probably want to be top 4. So Carson Gentle for me heading into spring is someone that I would project to probably get a pretty decent amount of playing time. Now with Carson Gentle and with Kellen Lindstrom, they could maybe be interchangeable. Both of those guys are really, really good. I've just been hearing more things early on about Carson Gentle, but once Kellen Lindstrom gains the weight, gets stronger, I think that he could maybe be at that number 4 spot. And then we have Jaden Lofton, who is a true freshman coming off of an ACL injury. Not sure if he's going to be ready to go in spring. Hopefully he can get some burn by summertime. That would definitely help him out, but he might not be a player just because he's going to be set back some. At least that's what I'm thinking. If he's set back some, might not see the field too much this year, but he's a really good player, and you could also throw him over with those Leos. So maybe you could interchange him and Marion Dow. Those two guys, you could put them in different spots. So I would say that Jaden Lofton has a whole lot of versatility. Now, let's take a look at our tackle room, 75% blue chip ratio. Hopefully Bryson Easton does come back. I've seen some clips of him training with the team and things like that. So he is expected to come back. We would probably know at this point if his draft stock has gotten high enough that he wants to go on and pursue the NFL. So I am expecting that he will be back. Next to him, I'm going to have Jackson Moy. Now, the reason that I have these two as my starters is because we typically have the guy that plays that 3 technique, which would be Bryson Easton. And then we've got that bigger guy that's almost like a nose inside of our system. That would have to be Jackson Moy. But to me, the 2 best defensive tackles on this team would be Bryson Easton and David Hobbs. So David Hobbs will get rotated in, with that second group. It'll probably be him with Nathan Robinson. 2 very, very good players. Actually, all 4 of the players that we just talked about, I think that are all really good. After that, we've got true freshman Campbell. I think that he's going to be absolutely deadly this season. Once he gets his feet wet, once he learns how to play Power 4 football, he's going to be a very, very good player. Then we have Charles House. Then we have Wallace and then Ethan Utley. Now, once you get past, I would say, once you get past Campbell, okay, so from 6 through 8, we could mix and match those all day long. Last season, Tennessee rotated 6 to 7 players at tackle. So if you really want to get rotated in, you need to be in that top 6. Again, maybe some of those strong side ends, like a West, like a Don Bailey, maybe they could take away some of the reps from some of these younger players or just the guys that aren't quite ready just yet if Tennessee really needs it. So I think that that is a group that coming up this season might be more talented. It's just going to have a different look. Not going to really have those big, huge guys like a big E or like a big O. Don't really have that right now on this team. But, maybe a guy like Wallace could grow into that. Maybe Jackson Moy could grow a little bit into that. I think he's pretty much filled out just, based off his height and things like that. But you never know. So I am excited to see how that group looks. It's going to be different, but I think that it could potentially end up being maybe a little bit better. Now, let's talk about the Leos. You can see that the blue chip ratio right here is at 100%. You got to love that. Joshua Joseph's coming back. He's going to be the starter more than likely, but I'm going to tell you, Jordan Ross might be potentially the best defensive lineman on this entire team next year. He is like a James Pierce 2.0. He's bigger. I think he's faster, might be a little bit twitchier. So He's a guy to definitely watch out for and to give us a whole lot of pass rush from the Leo spot. After him, I'm going to put Caleb Herring, who looked good last season. Definitely needs to get stronger at the point of contact. Needs to be a little bit better at stopping that run. But as a pass rusher, I like where he's at. Man, Marion Dodd, who y'all know I absolutely love. I think that he could push for that number 3 spot. I don't know how Coach G wants to do this, but heading into spring, this is how I have things kind of playing out. This would be a spot that I would not be surprised if by the season, if by the start of the season, Marion Dodd hasn't worked himself up right behind Jordan Ross, and that's daily. Now, like we talked about with Marion Dodd, he can play strong side defensive end, but he can also play tackle. So he's a player that I think could play anywhere up front for us at a very, very high level. And then we have Emmanuel Okoye. A lot of y'all forgot about him. Yes, he was a 4-star coming out of high school. Man, he is so long. He is just twitchy. He's a great athlete. I love his upside. Now, he has to learn how to play football a little bit more. It's unfortunate for him that he missed a lot of last season, but I do think that that could maybe help him out with some mental reps. If he comes in and if he's picked up just how to move around as a football player, look out for him to be another one that could be absolutely deadly from the Leo spot. Now, last season, we only rotated 3 to 4 guys. I would say that all these guys should find the field at some point this season. Whole lot of depth right there just with our entire front 4. You got to love that. Now, let's talk about our linebackers. Mike and Will, those are interchangeable within our system, and all of our players will be cross-trained to play Mike or to play Will, so that doesn't really matter. The way that I formulated this, though, was just based off of the players that I believe will be the starting 2, first string, second string, third string. That's kind of how this is ordered up. So for the Mike, we have a 75% blue chip ratio. I have Arion Carter, of course, as a starter right there. Behind him, I'm going to have Jeremiah Thielander. Then it's going to be Christian Gaz as a true freshman. And then I have Brendan Ames. Now, whenever you look at the wheel, I've got Edwin Spillman playing alongside Arion Carter. I like Jeremiah Thielander with the Jaden Harmon as a true freshman. But I also think that Jordan Burns could push really in any of these spots. Jordan Burns looked really good. I mean, I would say that out of all the linebackers that I watched play last season, I mean, very, very minimal reps that I got to see from Jordan Burns, but just from a way that they look moving around perspective, Jordan Burns is right up there with an Arion Carter. He actually looked better than Arion Carter did. So again, that was kind of in mop-up duty. Well, look out for him this spring to be a guy that maybe turns some heads. And then I have Jaden Perlotti. Now, with Christian Gas and with Jaden, both of those guys could end up playing Leo, and I can see either one of them moving further up on our depth chart. The only thing that I will say with Jaden and really even Christian is that because they're a little bit longer, they're going to have to fill out just a little bit more. So they're players that, they could be walking around at about 230, and they might still look a little thin, but they could fill out to be 245 and even 250. So their upside is crazy. I don't think that they would get up to that for their freshman year, but in year number 2 for them, man, I would expect them to be very close to about 240 pounds and moving around. Again, that means that they could play up front for us as well. Both very, very versatile. Christian Gas, front 4, or front 7. So whether he's just like a in the box sort of a linebacker or he's playing at Leo, I love him at both spots. But with Jaden, he can play on all 3 levels. So with Boo Carter getting some more time, playing on offense, we're looking for a star. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, Jaden Perlotti can definitely do that. So he could see the field early, just, in different situations. But, man, I'm very excited about this linebacker room. It's going to be a lot more athletic than anything that Coach Heupel's had up in Knoxville, and that's going to pay dividends for this team because they've got a great front 4 that should be able to keep them clean. Maybe not as clean as they did last season with some of the bigger bodies playing at tackle, but because they are so fast, I would expect that the coverage should be a whole lot tighter. Okay, we're talking about locking down the middle of the field, playing more man-to-man coverage, stopping those run backs coming out of the backfield, things like that. We can definitely guard versus all of that. But you should also see a lot more tackles being made within, very close to the line of scrimmage. I would say within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. So our run defense, our pass defense should get a whole lot better just because of our front 7. We have not even started to talk about the secondary yet, but there are some things that I do like there. Obviously, there will be some question marks with our best cornerback. Probably not going to be, starting off, early on in the season. But once he does come back, I think that we will be better forward with some more depth. But that's it for this video. I hope that y'all did enjoy it. Please leave your thoughts with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.